welcome back. This is the third week of our collaboration for Mix and Go Pantry Mixes Collaboration. This collaboration was started by Miss Katie at Heritage Ways, and it includes Mrs. Lori from Whippoorwill Holler, Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, Tammy from Little Jordan Farms, and myself. And we've had a lot of fun doing this and so many good ideas, things that I hadn't thought of, or maybe I'm going to do different now. And I've focused up till now on spice mixes because to me that's something that's really easy to have. You can use up old spices that way. You can create new things with them, and you can take something ordinary and make it something really special by using different spices and just opening up your repertoire to do some of these other things. And I was going to do some more spice mixes today. I was going to actually make my own chili powder blend from dried chilies. And I may do that in a future video. But what I decided to do is something that I really like having on hand, and that is a salsa mix. This stuff is great to have. I can throw together salsa if I need it for company or something like that in minutes by having this on my shelf. And it's literally opening a can of petite diced tomatoes and adding a couple tablespoons of this mix, stir it up, let it sit about 5 minutes, and you have salsa. I've made it to what I like, but this can be changed however you like it. You can make it hotter, you can make it milder, you can use different peppers. You can add or take away some of these seasonings. But the basic recipe, we love it. We like having it ready. I can make this up and put it on top of chicken and bake it for supper. And there's just so many ways to use salsa. And this makes it really simple. I encourage you to try and make your own mixes. And the way I go about it is I try and have ideas of things I want, easily accessible, and then I reverse engineer them, whether it's from a recipe that I use with regular ingredients and just try and pre-mix part of it, or if it's a rice mix, and I have several of those that I've done in the past, I'm not doing them now. There's so many ways to make your life more convenient and have things in your pantry that you throw together. They are just very convenient, but you're controlling the ingredients. You control how it tastes. You control things like MSG and sugar and things we just don't need or want. I'd rather do that any day and know that this is healthy for us, it's safe, and it's going to taste good because I don't make it if it doesn't taste good. So let's get started with my recipe. Again, this is so easy, it's almost not a recipe, and that's spice mixes, seasoning mixes, things like this, the pudding mixes, all of the different things the ladies have done. It's so simple, but you have to think it through, and there's a little trial and error usually if you're making your own. But we're giving you a head start so you can start with our mixes and then make them to however your family likes them. So one of the first ingredients that I would add to a salsa is onion. So I've got dehydrated onion flakes here, and I'm starting with a 1/4 cup, but I took not quite half of it and put it in the spice grinder and just made it a little bit finer grind, but I'm leaving chunky too. And I'm just going to put it straight into a jar. Now, the second thing that's an absolute must to me is garlic. So to the 1/4 cup, actually that was a 1/3 cup of dehydrated onion. And I added 1 tablespoon to that because I just thought it needed a little bit more. So 1/3 cup plus 1 tablespoon of dehydrated onions. And then I'm going to take 2.5 tablespoons of dehydrated minced garlic because I love garlic. Then I have freeze-dried chili peppers, and this is where you can get creative with the different peppers that you use. But I had these freeze-dried green chilies. These were Thrive Life, but use whatever you want to use. These were a little bit chunky, so I again put those in my little spice grinder. Left them mostly chunky, but I got it a little bit finer. And then I have diced jalapeno dehydrated. I find this at World Market. I love that place. But you can find it at other places also. You might have to look a little bit. And I took 2 tablespoons of that. Again, put it through that spice grinder because it was pretty chunky. And I want it a little bit finer so you don't bite into a big chunk of jalapeno. But I want that flavor to go throughout. So that was 2 tablespoons of the jalapeno. And then I have, and I didn't get that prepared, I have 2 teaspoons of garlic salt. You can use just salt, but I figure more garlic. It's gotta be better. Then to that I have 3 tablespoons of dried cilantro. I have 1 tablespoon of chili powder. I've got 1 teaspoon of vinegar powder, and that's another one you might have to search for. I know you can get it online. And then I have a 1/4 teaspoon of citric acid. And then in this little bowl, I have 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, ground cumino. I have 1/2 teaspoon of my lemon peel powder. Again, I get that Thrive Life, and I'm loving that. I love what it does to dishes. And 1/2 teaspoon of coriander powder. So there's just flavor on top of flavor in this. And you can see all the different layers, but we don't want to leave it in layers. We want this well mixed. Once I get it a little bit mixed together, then I'm going to start just shaking the jar to really mix it well. And you need to do that anytime you use this because ingredients do settle. The finer ones will drop to the bottom and the chunky ones stay on top, and that's not a good mix. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some up and show you how simple this is. This is 1 can of petite diced tomatoes. Take about 2 tablespoons of the mixture. Since I'm making this tonight, I'm going to have to make myself some chicken for supper because I can't have chips. And there's your salsa. Some of this will rehydrate quicker, so I usually leave it 5 to 10 minutes. But by that time, it should the flavors should be melded together and just so good. And since I cannot have chips, I could, but I'm not cheating. I'm on the keto. I'm really trying to not cheat at all. Except last weekend for our anniversary, we did cheat. And this needs to sit a little bit longer, but I'm still going to take a taste. It's good. I do make this just a little bit hotter than most people probably would because that's what Brian likes. And I don't mind too much. So if you don't like hot, maybe start with 1 tablespoon of jalapeno peppers, and you can always add to it. This is about right for us, but there you go. Salsa that can be ready in minutes. The biggest caution I give you with this, you don't have to cut up jalapenos. You don't have to do all that. It's already done. But when you're grinding it in that spice grinder, let it sit for a minute and then tap it. Because when I open it up, powder flew, and it was kind of fun because it was jalapeno. But I hope you give this a try. Again, this is something you just keep this jar in your pantry. Put a label on it, salsa mix, the date, and 2 tablespoons to 1 can of tomatoes. And I like the petite dice because you can see that's a nice small size, so you're not getting just big chunks of tomato. So thank you so much for watching this collaboration. We have had more fun, and I'm sure that we'll come up with other ideas in the future. And I know that I'll keep making other mixes, and I will probably have a chili powder recipe mix coming up before long, because I bought it all, I just didn't have time to do it. So watch for that. Thank you for watching. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share, but hit that notification bell and be sure that it says all videos. The default for YouTube is occasional notifications. And a lot of people are surprised by that. So be sure and go down there and make sure it says all notifications. God bless, and we'll talk again soon.